In the Derby phase of Ranger School, you are going to learn the 20 boards, which are basic squad tactics that the Ranger instructors will teach you during Techniques Day. The Verse 20 board is formations and order of movement. This is the foundation of all squad and platoon tactics. I'm going to break this down into 4 sections. The first section is the Fire Team Wedge Formation. This is the most common and basic formation that you are going to use in Ranger School. I'm going to go over how this formation is set up, and then I'm going to give some tips based on what I learned at Ranger School and my experience in the Army. If you would like to get into the nitty-gritty of this, I'm going to include the Ranger Instructor Narrative PDF, the link to the Ranger Pro app, and the different Facebook groups that I used to prepare for Ranger School in the description down below for your reference. I highly recommend checking them out as there's a lot of useful information. To start off, at least everyone in the infantry should know this, the base unit is the fire team. 2 or 3 fire teams make up a squad, and 3 to 4 squads make a platoon. This graphic shows a squad column fire team wedge. The first element in the squad is the alpha team. The alpha team is led by the alpha team leader, who is responsible for his team, frontal security, land navigation, and route selection for the squad. To his left is the automatic rifleman, who carries the M249 squad automatic weapon. To his right, the rifleman, who also is the primary compass man for the squad. To the rifleman's right is the grenadier. These guys are separated by 10 meters at a 45-degree angle. Even though this graphic shows that the automatic rifleman is on the left and the 2 others are on the right, this can change depending on the situation. Following the alpha team is the headquarters team. The headquarters team is led by the squad leader. As is stated in doctrine, the squad leader is responsible for accountability, command and control, and everything that the squad does or fails to do. To his right is the RTO, or radio telephone operator. To the squad leader's left is the machine gunner and the assistant gunner. Again, like I said, while this graphic shows the individuals in their positions, this can change depending on the situation. Following the headquarters team is the Bravo team. The Bravo team is led by the Bravo team leader. Essentially, he is a mini platoon sergeant. He is in charge of his team, but also helps the squad leader out with accountability and logistics of the squad. To his right is the automatic rifleman, and to his left is a rifleman who is also the backup compass man. And then to the rifleman's left is the grenadier. I mentioned that depending on the situation, the individuals may change positions. Ultimately though, regardless of where the individuals are located during movement, you want the team's weapon systems to be opposite to each other so that you have equal distribution of men, weapons, and equipment on both flanks of the squad. The formation is the most basic because it offers the balance between flexibility, security, and control. It allows for 360-degree security at all times, equal distribution of men, weapons, and equipment, and the leaders have the flexibility to move around as needed to maintain control of their elements. Do note, however, the only leadership position that is not flexible to move around is the alpha team leader, because he's the point man and therefore is the one responsible for frontal security. Now I'm going to talk about movement techniques. In squad tactics, when moving, there are 3 types of formations: traveling, traveling overwatch, and bounding overwatch. Traveling is used when the enemy contact is not likely. This is where, as a squad, you're going to be in the formation shown in the graphic, but each of the fire teams are separated by 20 meters. Traveling Overwatch is used when enemy contact is possible, and therefore we want to maintain security and not let any possible enemy we might run into know how big our element is. Therefore, we're going to separate the Alpha team from the rest of the squad by 50 meters. So it's the same formation, but the Alpha team is essentially going to be a scout element for the rest of the squad by going further ahead. Bounding Overwatch is used when enemy contact is expected. This concept is to cover and move. One team is going to be moving forwards, while the other teams are going to be covering their movement and providing security. Once the moving team has made it to the destination they want to get to, they set in security, allowing the rear element to move up to their position. While this is the slowest form of movement, this is the most rewarding because it offers excellent security, and when a squad is able to execute this correctly, they are a force to be reckoned with. Now, being realistic, when you are patrolling as a squad in Ranger School, the vegetation at Fort Benning is extremely thick, especially in the summer when I went. It is realistic that you're not going to be able to maintain this formation exactly as it is described, so it's important to know that this is doctrine. This is what you want to strive for, because ultimately this formation does offer the best security, but in reality, you're going to have to think on your feet and determine what is the best situation. If you try to execute an ideal, an actual situation is not ideal, you're not going to be able to think, and ultimately the Ranger instructors want to see that you are thinking. They don't want to see that you're just checking boxes. On the contrary, there is no excuse for lazy tactics. Due to a difficult environment, from my experience, having conducted a number of patrols during training when vegetation is thick, it is a natural human tendency to move in closer to where there are other humans and bunch up quite a bit. Therefore, even though there will be times that bunching up is unavoidable and even necessary, as a leader in the squad, it is necessary that you enforce maintaining the most amount of spacing as possible. Another thing from my experience that I saw during Ranger School, and then during other training situations in the Army, people generally want to do what is easiest. And so I often saw squads only move in traveling throughout the whole mission. While it takes more time, when you are able to efficiently execute Traveling Overwatch and Bounding Overwatch, your squad will be a force to be reckoned with. Traveling Overwatch enables you as an element to disturb the least amount of ground as possible, and Bounding Overwatch enables you to cross ground with ease, knowing that there are security elements watching while you are moving. Executing this efficiently only comes with repetition.